Tonight, the government ditches its free childcare scheme that changes that'll cost young families from next month. South Australians relish a long weekend away, packing out holiday hotspots across the state. An 88-year-old gem among the politicians and sports stars in the Queen's birthday honours. Ruffled feathers in the crow's nest as players punch on during a tense training session. And an icy blast brings a wintry wake-up to the northern suburbs and beyond.
This is 10 News First Adelaide with Alan Murrell.
Good evening. A huge blow for many families was announced today. Free childcare will end in July. It's the first of the big COVID-19 safety nets to be rolled back by Scott Morrison, and people working in the industry will be kicked off JobKeeper as well.
It was a $1.6 billion life raft to keep a sinking industry afloat.
It will be free.
But 2 months on, according to the government, the childcare sector has been reborn.
Our most recent survey shows that demand has hit 74% across all parts of the sector.
So Scott Morrison is pulling the pin. From July 13, it's back to reality for parents, with childcare fees to resume. But there will be a subsidy for 100 hours of childcare for those who have suffered financially due to the pandemic. From July 20, JobKeeper payments for childcare workers will end. That will be replaced by a $708 million support package over 3 months to ease the transition. Welcome news for operators getting back to business.
A stepped approach back to normal with the transition program as well as the return to the childcare subsidy system that we know.
But a daunting prospect for families barely on their feet.
It feels too soon, and I've just gotten used to the new monthly budget and what that kind of looks like. So not sure, it doesn't really feel like a great time.
Yeah, it's definitely a stress for us.
If women and families are not able to access affordable childcare, how are they going to get back to work? How are they going to actually participate in the economy?
The end of free childcare is just the first of the COVID-19 safety net measures to be rolled back since they were introduced. But with more JobKeeper payments up for review at the end of the month, it could just be the start. A balancing act the government must get right in the race to get Aussies back to work. Sydney Pete for 10 News First.
Long weekend holidaymakers desperate to get out of the house are heading home in their droves from across the state. Cam Inglis is at the notorious crossroads of Port Wakefield.
Well, when the Port Wakefield bottleneck strikes once again, cars have been backed up here for more than a kilometre. Traffic's now starting to slowly flow through, but for many of these people, this would have been the first opportunity that they've had to go out and explore the regions and spread their wings since the coronavirus restrictions took place. But now they do have a frustrating wait ahead of them as they try to get through this intersection and back into Adelaide. So hopefully there's a few snacks in the car. There's a few games of I Spy going on because traffic, as you can see behind me, is not moving very fast at all. But for many of these holiday makers, it would have been a cracking start to the morning. It was a bit brisk, but soon the sun did come out.
A morning stroll along the beach, the perfect way to kick-start a public holiday, feeling a little less restricted.
The tide's out, so the stretch of sand that you could walk on was expansive and it was fantastic.
For four-legged holiday makers too.
Seaweed makes seaweed castles for the dogs to jump up on. Fantastic fun.
Boat ramps swelled with keen anglers taking advantage of glassy conditions.
We're going maybe out to the Tyre Reef and we're trying to catch probably squid or garfish.
Not out too early, gentlemen's hours.
It was pretty good weather, nice and flat, so good time to go.
But it wasn't smooth sailing for everyone, with Sea Rescue forced to assist several that got into trouble.
Heard a little sound about halfway in front of Brighton almost. Pulled it back into neutral, motor died, pulled the cover off and couldn't turn her, wouldn't start.
At least they didn't return empty-handed.
Where we stopped, we anchored, tried to fish, but only got one squid.
It's also been a busy day at the state's caravan parks, with many people packing up and heading home after the long weekend.
Yeah, it was good to get out and have a bit of fun for the weekend, get the kids out.
Yeah, we're just going to play a bit of putt-back golf because we're down for another night and
just have a bit of a day with the family.
Crowds making the trip down to Victor Harbour, with people keen to spread their wings.
I think everyone's enjoying, a little bit of freedom as everything's loosened up, so it's good.
At Port Elliott's popular bakery, a huge queue continues to stretch as far as the eye can see.
It's good to see lots of people out and about though, and just having a good time.
No, I wasn't really expecting this many people. It's a good turnout though.
Cam Inglis for 10 News First.
Police nabbed a driver who blew a shocking 6 times the legal limit during a breath test at Surrey Downs this morning. A patrol stopped the 49-year-old from Golden Grove at around 11 a.m. She blew 0.296, lost her licence for a year, and her car was impounded. A man's been arrested accused of setting fire to a house at Salisbury North today. Police took the 51-year-old resident of the Combine Avenue property into custody at the scene. The small kitchen fire was quickly extinguished. He's been charged with property damage. 933 Australians have been recognised on this year's Queen's Birthday Honours list. Among the usual selection of politicians and sports stars, one Australian who describes herself as an ordinary checkout chick.
While he never quite managed to reinstate knighthoods, our 28th PM has now received the top gong in the Queen's Birthday Honours, in part for his work with Indigenous Australians.
I was letting Aboriginal people know that, as far as I was concerned at least, they were every bit as important as anyone else.
And from the man famous for his captain's calls to the one known for his captain's knocks, they're today one of 933 people on it.
Look, I wouldn't change anything throughout my journey. I enjoyed the good times, I fought through the tough times, and it's a ride that I'm extremely proud of.
There were those who wished their mum could have seen this one.
When I was a kid, my mother always told me how good I was. And finally I believed her. Now I wish she was still alive to see it.
Well, I thought it was a wonderful thing to receive. I didn't expect it. I don't know who put me up for it, but I thank them.
To those who want to inspire the future generations.
I'm just hoping it'll be an inspiration to young Australian women to want to come forward and serve in public life.
But among the famous names, there's one you won't have heard of.
I was gobsmacked when I got the letter, because I thought, well, I'm just an ordinary checkout chick.
Brenda Palmer has worked for a remarkable 53 years at Coles, and when it comes to dedication, she, we think, takes the cake.
I might have a cup of tea inside. They will be about as staring as I get.
Ursula Hager for 10 News First.
And we'll have a full report on the South Australians honoured later in the bulletin. Well, we all shivered through one of the coldest mornings of the year and a freezing start to the public holiday. Kate Freeban, just how cold did it get?
Well, Alan, it's a good thing today was a public holiday, because I think a lot of people would have slept in and stayed in bed even longer than usual, and you had a good excuse. Today was well and truly the coldest morning so far this year, even colder than last winter too. This was one of the coldest spots in Adelaide. Mount Lofty hit 1 degree, but if you've just returned from a long weekend away, chances are you were even colder. It was our country towns that went sub-zero. Our reporter Kate Summers was in the Barossa.
A wintry wake-up in the Barossa.
It was super cold and I just didn't want to wake up.
Campers in Norayutpa rising this morning to frosty lawns and frozen feet.
My toes were freezing.
It's not very, it wouldn't be cold for my dad because at his work he has a -40 freezer.
We had all ice creams out last night and they were still frozen in the morning, so it was ice cream for everyone for breakfast.
The chill felt across the city, where car windows were slated with ice and morning walkers braved freezing conditions.
I've got these gloves from 1982 that I had to pull out of the drawer because I've never been this cold in my life.
It's not too bad because I come from Ireland, so this is like a summer's day in Ireland.
Adelaide's icy blast felt hardest in the northern suburbs, where temperatures haven't been this cold this early for almost 4 decades. At Kent Town, the mercury dipped as low as 1.5 degrees before sunrise. It was sub-zero at Parafield, minus 1.9, and minus 2.3 at Nurrell. In the regions, it was even colder. Renmark at minus 3.4, while Yunta was the coldest spot in South Australia, minus 4.8 degrees.
We can expect to wake up to sub-zero temperatures again tomorrow morning, with the Bureau of Meteorology saying that's likely to last until Thursday.
Absolutely freezing.
I just wanted to get my blanket on.
Kate Summers for 10 News First.
Well, you could say I'm a glutton for punishment, choosing to come up to Mount Lofty for the weather tonight. Right now it's just 4 degrees. It is absolutely freezing, but it seems the cold weather has novelty factor. There's a big crowd behind me looking out over Adelaide, and Alan, some of them are even in shorts. So I'm not sure whether I'm a wuss or they're crazy. You can be the judge.
I'm pretty sure they're crazy. Thank you, Kate. While the weather has been frosty, Crows training has been heating up. Will Goodings.
Yeah, a couple of teammates out came up with a pretty interesting way of remaining warm. Days out from a showdown against their crosstown rivals, there was a brawl between Adelaide teammates. 10 News First captured the moment Kyle Hardigan and Billy Frampton traded fists during an internal trial. They had to be separated by teammates. The club won't sanction either player and said it was just a matter of heat in the moment. For Brodie Smith, he wants to see that passion from his teammates.
You love to see, because it's that white line fever and competitiveness that we're looking for in internal for guys to push for spots. So they were all good afterwards and did the elbow bump and moved on.
Also going coast to coast, the Eagles head to their Queensland hub. And now we'll have more from that chat with Brodie Smith coming up in sport.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Will. Still to come, a developing story out of the US. Shots fired at a protest rally in Seattle. From the pandemic to protests and now a tropical storm, a damaging front makes landfall in the US. And swabbing for explosives and coronavirus, the company creating a detecting device for our airports.
MasterChef's greatest challenge is here.
Oh my God.
What is it? We can't tell you.
Oh my God, I'm going crazy.
You'll have to wait and see.
Tell us something.
The top 10 won't know what's hidden.
Mayhem. Mayhem. Oh my God.
This is not good.
The wall goes up. 7:30 tonight.
I'm going to have one side of my face have laser skin resurfacing and the other side L'Oreal Revitalift laser cream, and we'll see if the results compare. I actually feel my skin looks much, much better than it did 4 weeks ago on both sides. You can get similar results without the pain.
Revitalift Laser from L'Oreal Paris.
Dynamic Home Enhancements end of financial year clearance is on now. Save hundreds of dollars on your roller shutters from one of Australia's largest roller shutter manufacturers. The accountants have ordered all stock must be cleared by June 30. Dynamic are now offering free installation to clear stocks. Plus get no deposit, interest-free finance and save even more with your seniors discount. Call Dynamic now.
Dynamic Home Enhancements.
The great outdoors has never looked better. And to celebrate, Mitsubishi is offering 7 years warranty and up to $1,500 off their legendary SUVs and utes. So now you can come and see for yourself.
Delivery unlimited? Delivery unlimited?
Get your Woolies worth with Woolworths Delivery Unlimited. Start your 30-day free trial today.
That's another reason to pick Woolies.
Meet Rego. He has a knack of popping up when you least expect him. Hello. 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 So when Rego pops up, choose QBE for CTP for your car and say hello to a $25 e-gift card. Go to qbeforctp.com.au. Ends August 31st. Terms apply.
There's gonna be Monday Night Mayhem when Marty, Denise and Mel join Ed and Sam on New Have You Been Paying Attention tonight.
Tonight, White Prince Andrew may have no choice but to break his silence over his notorious relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
Free childcare is set to end early, but have we missed an opportunity to overhaul the flawed system?
And if you've enjoyed some comfort food during lockdown, medical experts say at least it's better than resorting to alcohol and drugs. I'm not sure why they call them comfort food. I ate 5 meals yesterday and in the end I was quite uncomfortable.
All that and more coming up at 6:30. Did you have the toilet?
Lots of times.
Terrifying scenes have been recorded in Seattle. A few hours ago, a man drove his car towards a group of protesters. One of them lunged through the driver's side window and started punching. The driver retaliates by shooting him. Thankfully, it was just a graze and the shooter was arrested nearby after trying to escape on foot. There's been another major development for US law enforcement, with the Minneapolis City Council voting to dismantle its police force. The extraordinary pledge follows the killing of George Floyd by one of the city's police officers.
Almost 2 weeks since the death of George Floyd, scenes of mass protests continue to play out in Los Angeles and across America.
I'm out here after curfew because this is a revolution.
And in that revolutionary spirit, the city that sparked what is now a global movement pledged to do something radical.
Our commitment is to end our city's toxic relationship with the Minneapolis Police Department, to end policing as we know it.
A veto-proof majority of the Minneapolis City Council, which funds the police, voted to dismantle it. Instead, they say they'll invest in community-led safety initiatives. Exactly what that means isn't yet clear. But the campaign, unthinkable just 2 weeks ago, is catching on. In New York, the mayor is committing to cutting funding to America's biggest police department.
That we will be moving funding from the NYPD to youth initiatives and social services.
It's potentially a campaign gift to Donald Trump. The US president tweeting, "Sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left Democrats want to defund the police. I want great and well-paid law enforcement," as his White House was surrounded by protesters for yet another day. Among them, the former Republican presidential nominee, Mitt Romney.
The Black Lives Matter.
While former Republican Secretary of State Colin Powell, who voted for Hillary Clinton in 2016, endorsed Joe Biden for the presidency.
We have a constitution, and we have to follow that constitution, and the president's drifted away from it.
Trump is reportedly considering addressing the nation on race and unity this week. But it's clear in this broken country, healing and unity are a long way off. Adam Gleeson for 10 News First.
Multiple police officers have been injured in violent clashes with Black Lives Matter protesters in London. Further west in Bristol, crowds tore down a statue of a 17th century slave trader.
I think that is utterly disgraceful, and that speaks to the acts of disorder, public disorder, that actually have now become a distraction from the cause in which people are actually protesting.
The statue of former British Prime Minister Winston Churchill was also targeted. Thousands have taken to the streets in Brazil protesting against the Prime Minister's decision to hide the coronavirus death toll from the public. The nation recently surpassed 34,000 deaths from the virus and nearly 615,000 infections, becoming the second most infected nation in the world. Daily case numbers will still be made available online. However, a website tallying the total number of cases and deaths has now been taken down. While New Zealand is now officially coronavirus-free, joining a short list of 8 other countries reporting no active cases. A person in their 50s linked to an outbreak in a rest home was the last case. The country has also marked 17 days in a row without a new diagnosis. Tropical storm Cristobal has made landfall on America's Gulf Coast, producing torrential rains, flash flooding and tornado warnings across several states. Coastal areas in Louisiana and Mississippi have been inundated by a 1.5 metre storm surge. Close to half a metre of rain has also fallen on parts of the Florida Panhandle. Ahead, Prince Andrew's new Epstein crisis. Plus, the reassuring message from medical professionals if you've gained some COVID kilos. And NASA recruiting everyday Aussies, how you can work for the space program.
On Tan's must-see Monday, the wall goes up on MasterChef and mayhem begins.
There's chaos in here!
Later, it's Monday Mayhem on Have You Been Paying Attention?
Great effort and so few points.
Must-see Monday begins 7:30 tonight.
It's Java Subaru's end of financial year sale.
All new and demo Subarus priced to clear and all come with the big high five.
That's up to 5 years factory warranty, 5 years roadside assist, 5 years capped price servicing, 5-star and cap safety, $500 of free genuine accessories.
That's a big high five with every new and demo Subaru.
Demo MY20 Forester P, 34,888. Demo Impreza S Hatch, just 28,888.
Better hurry, only while stocks last.
The biggest thing since joining my budget is that we've eliminated almost all of our debt. And honestly, we have my budget to thank for that.
Call My Budget now for your free consultation.
At Coles, there's over $100,000 worth of prizes to be won. Spend $20 in one transaction at Coles, scan your Flybuys card and receive one entry into the prize draw. Plus, get a bonus entry when you buy selected products.
Coles, good things, great value.
If I could give them 1 million stars, I would.
Another real review from a happy Aussie broadband customer. With thousands of 5-star reviews, an award-winning NBN network and all Australian support, we're shooting for the stars. Aussie Broadband. Can't beat feedback.
Does someone in your family need their hearing checked? Can Do Hearing is a not-for-profit clinic providing hearing solutions and independent recommendations for over a decade. Contact us for a full hearing assessment with a qualified audiologist today.
See? Steve?
Domino's is bringing New York to your living room with the new giant-sized New Yorker range. Try one from just $19.95 delivered from Domino's.
Harris Scarf's giant June sale is now on. Take a huge 40 to 60% off all homewares in Manchester, 30 to 50% off all clothing, footwear and underwear, and 20 to 30% off all electrical. Hurry, don't miss out. See in-store or online for details.
I suddenly realized we're all in this together.
That feels especially true, given what's going on. It is good to know that our super will help us and our economy bounce back. And if you're with one of these, your super is invested in things that create jobs and keep Aussie businesses strong, delivering good long-term returns that benefit all of us. After all,
we're all in this together.
It's laundry season at Harvey Norman. Wash smarter with the latest technology from all the leading brands. Save up to $700 on selected Miele laundry packages or up to $1,200 on selected AEG packages. We have dryers in stock from $349. Front-load washers with steam to sanitize and care for your delicate items from $698. King-size washers to save you time from $899. Plus 60 months interest-free is available. Limited time now at Harvey Norman.
There's gonna be Monday Night Mayhem when Marty, Denise and Mel join Ed and Sam on new Have You Been Paying Attention tonight.
She's the Fitfluencer like no other.
You can do this. You can make yourself better.
Meet the 74-year-old who flipped the fitness switch and transformed her body, proving you can't turn back the clock, but you can wind it up again.
Thanks for stopping by.
Be inspired tomorrow on Studio 10.
Prince Andrew could soon be grilled under oath by US authorities as part of a criminal probe into billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The Department of Justice has formally notified the Duke of York that he is required for questioning.
The latest twist in the saga of Prince Andrew could be the most explosive yet. US investigators are now demanding he answer questions as they continue to probe the sex trafficking network of deceased billionaire pedophile Jeffrey Epstein. The Department of Justice filed what's called a mutual legal assistance request with the UK Home Office, meaning the 60-year-old Duke could be forced to testify in court as part of the case against Epstein. He's always denied any wrongdoing, but has been dogged by allegations of sexual misconduct for years. Most notably claims he slept with teen sex slave Virginia Roberts Giuffre, a then 17-year-old who claims she was trafficked by Epstein.
We never had any sort of sexual contact whatever.
It was this disastrous interview with the BBC last year that sent the Duke's world into freefall.
I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time.
He stood down from royal duties and was widely ostracised. While the Prince has always said he'll cooperate with the US investigation, authorities have long bemoaned his lawyers' efforts to stonewall the case. There's been no comment from the Palace or the Home Office regarding this official interview request. Blocking it risks a diplomatic storm, but allowing it to go ahead could create a fresh spectacle the Crown would be desperate to avoid. Joe Hill for 10 News First.
If you've added a couple of Corona Comfort kilos of late, this next story may ease your concerns. Medical experts say the road ahead shouldn't just focus on our waistlines.
For months, life in lockdown has been hard, with Australians coping any way they can. While many have embraced getting back to basics, others have found it harder to deal with.
All of the crisis call centres have reported huge increased rates in people calling in distress.
For many people, that's meant turning to food, but here's the good news. Dr Buchanan says that's okay and certainly not something we should stress about.
We know that there's some people turning to drugs and alcohol. There's some people that simply aren't coping at all. So yeah, eating for comfort is perfectly fine.
Experts say the world's perception of the perfect body and what being healthy looks like is coming at the cost of our mental health, and that impact could linger well beyond COVID-19.
Yeah, we have this idea of what's normal is to try and uphold a standard that none of us can uphold, and then we tend to berate ourselves and experience a lot of shame and criticism when we're not able to uphold that standard.
Dietitian Kate Lane says it's simple. There's no such thing as good or bad food.
We're not bad people for eating certain foods, we're not good people for eating certain foods. So using moral words such as good and bad is just really unhelpful in allowing us to take care of ourselves.
The same can't be said for society standards. The advice is even the BMI benchmark is something we shouldn't be ruling our lives by.
I think it's far better off that we're looking at all of the measures, say for physical health, across what their bloods look like, how they feel day to day, all the way to what's their social life like, what's their emotional health like. So we need to look at health a lot more broadly, rather than just using this really simple measure of just weight and height to determine that.
So as gyms reopen and we're flooded with messages of getting back to our pre-COVID best, we're being urged to remember what matters most.
We don't need to come out of lockdown feeling like we need to race back into getting back to wherever we were prior to lockdown. Everybody probably needs a bit of a breather.
And that should be enough to lift a little weight off our shoulders at least. Holly Green for 10 News First.
South Australian businesses hit with power failure charges. Why they say they simply can't foot the bill next. Plus, from cheese that looks like art to large sculptures, the South Australians who earned some royal recognition this Queen's birthday weekend. And tributes for a surfer mauled by a large shark as Queensland beaches remain closed amid more sightings.
I'm going crazy. Oh my God. This is not good.
The wall goes up tonight.
It's time to rediscover the hills, extend your horizon and celebrate the reawakening of life at Mount Lofty House. Enjoy 2 nights of luxury for the price of one. Book now at mountloftyhouse.com.au.
So why do we travel? Is it to relax? To check out or in? Is it to get to know someone? Everyone? To seek new thrills, chase the sun or stop you in your tracks? So whether you choose to tread the path less trodden or take in your dream destinations, they'll be there waiting for you to rediscover. In a world standing still, let's keep dreaming and planning. And when you're ready, Phil Hoffman Travel is here for you.
What do Bradford Homes stand for? Bolder designs, better quality, boundless options, brighter spaces, built for lifestyle and backed by the best. Bradford Homes, the new benchmark in attainable luxury. Proudly brought to you by Scott Salisbury.
Don't miss a moment. New by Solvin Duo Syrup is a 2-in-1 formula traditionally used to soothe an irritated throat and relieve an associated dry cough. By Solvin Duo. Moments uninterrupted.
Thinking of buying your first home? With rates at historic lows, there's never been a better time. These stunning, soon-to-be-built 3-bedroom townhouses at Mitchell Park will be packed full of features that you'll love and are just $449,000. Plus, be one of the first purchasers and you'll receive our tips bonus, saving you thousands of dollars. So if you've been waiting for the right time to buy your first home, let Tips help you. For more information, go to our website or call Tips now.
A great way to open up your world and improve your well-being is to take things one step at a time. That might mean jumping into a DIY project and getting creative, learning new skills and keeping in touch with your community, finding new ways to connect with family and friends, or getting up and getting active. Take the first step and discover all the support and resources you need at openyourworld.sa.gov.au.
One day your life is settled and you know who you are. Or at least you think you do.
You have to scorch everything to start over.
Alright Australia, so you need more energy and a better night's sleep. Meet the revolutionary Sleeping Duck mattress taking Australia by storm. It's the next generation mattress reimagined by aerospace engineers to give you the best energy, health and sleep benefits possible, even making history by becoming the first mattress ever to win Choice's Best Overall Mattress 2 years in a row. It comes manufacturer direct, free of markup. And that means you can get incredible quality with incredible value. That's Sleeping Duck, one giant leap for your sleep.
This is Adelaide's 10 News First. Tonight's headlines. The federal government will scrap its free childcare policy next month, instead rolling out a transition package to aid the sector while also cutting the JobKeeper payment for childcare workers. Traffic at a near standstill at the notorious Port Wakefield bottleneck as South Australians return from a welcome long weekend away. And fists fly at West Lakes as 2 crows come to blows. From entrepreneurial foodies to nature devotees, South Australians named on the Queen's Birthday Honours list have served the community in many different ways. But they all have one thing in common: absolute dedication to improving our state.
For Chris Lloyd, 2019 will always be remembered for guiding her business through a horror bushfire. So an honour from the Queen is a welcome way to mark 2020. The Woodside Cheese Wrights founder recognised for services to the food and tourism industries.
And we've pushed the boundaries in many cases, you know, putting green ants on cheese, for instance.
Her business, like so many, is relying on South Australians to get behind it to survive the pandemic.
Everyone can make a difference, and I would really encourage people to be looking at what they are putting in their shopping trolleys.
Fellow foodie Mary Dittmar is also receiving some royal recognition. A volunteer with Vinnie's and Fred's van, she's fed the homeless for decades.
I just like cooking, and I enjoy supplying a meal and seeing the appreciation on the people that come to Fred's van.
Improving the lives of the homeless is also a passion for Catherine House, who spent 2 decades leading the women's shelter, which entirely by coincidence shares her name.
I probably got involved, not just the name, but because I think, you know,
that could be any of us.
She first learned of the organisation through a series of confusing conversations with strangers who mistakenly congratulated her for starting the charity.
I'm a school teacher by training, and I think, oh well, you know, it is incredible. I love teaching, but it's not like I'm saving lives.
You might not recognise Silvio Apognu's name, but chances are you've seen his work. The sculptor has pieces scattered all over the state.
To be respected in your field, to be loved by people you've helped, it's an astonishing thing.
Colin Edwards has also put in some hard yards to earn an honour. For 30 years, he's been dedicated to maintaining and restoring the Hyson Trail for others to enjoy.
We have it marked pretty well. It's one of our big duties is to make sure people don't get lost off the trail.
And Rachel Zoltran helps keep children on the right track. Backpacks for SA Kids ensures every child has access to basic necessities.
Children going into foster care, domestic violence, youth homelessness, pretty much any child. We've nearly reached 40,000 kids since we started now.
Taylor Ryan for 10 News First.
Adelaide businesses are being whacked with a hefty charge for an interstate power failure. One Western Suburbs retailer's been slugged an extra $1,800.
Greg Wood says his IGA doesn't make enough dough to cop extra charges on its monthly power bill.
Well, our bill's normally about $600,000 and now it's over $8,000. So yeah, it's a fair whack. Not a business that makes huge profits, so that's a big amount to us.
Businesses are paying the price, $90 million that is, for the failure of the Haywood interconnector in January when a storm damaged transmission towers in Victoria. Glenelg East IGA is on a 5-year contract with AGL. Reliability service charges are in the fine print.
I can't understand what happened. You know, just because the interconnector went down in Victoria, why we've had this massive charge.
My understanding is that this isn't something that's going to impact upon household power bills.
The opposition says all costs could have been avoided at the time.
It would have been zero if the state government had decided to turn the generators on rather than allow AGL, Origin and every other power company to use their generators to stabilise the grid.
But those suggestions have been dismissed by the state government, which claims the backup generators wouldn't have saved businesses a cent. It says the decision was made by the Australian Energy Market Operator and insists the proposed interconnector with New South Wales will generate a solution. Chloe Boris for 10 News First.
Police have recovered a rare vintage car recently stolen from an Unley shed. The 1930 Model A Ford was discovered at Happy Valley after an anonymous tip-off to police. Officers say the car, which can't be driven, must have been towed or placed on a trailer to be stolen from the Unley property. Some beaches along the Gold Coast will remain closed until at least tomorrow morning following a fatal shark attack off the coast of northern New South Wales yesterday. There have been more reported sightings of the deadly predators in the area.
These signs will remain in place until at least 10 a.m. Tuesday morning, when authorities will reassess whether to reopen beaches between Duranbar and Pottsville following yesterday's fatal attack. Authorities continue to patrol the ocean today, searching for the suspected 3-metre great white that killed Tugun man Rob Pedretti when he was surfing at Salt Beach near Kingscliff.
We're engaging with all the surfers and beachgoers up and down the coast and just ensuring that they are removing themselves from the water.
The decision to extend the closure was made after a lifesaver on a jet ski spotted a similar shark at Fingal Head this morning.
It's too difficult for us to say that it is the shark yesterday, but we really don't want to take any chances.
Police say there's been increased activity in the water as thousands of whales migrate north, bringing with them schools of baitfish and other predators. Local surfer Marty Gambin left the water just 40 minutes before the deadly attack after he felt uncomfortable in his surroundings.
Thank God it wasn't my time yesterday, but unfortunately it was for Rob.
Police have again commended the bravery of 2 men who endangered their own lives in an attempt to save Mr. Pedretti from the shark.
They were the heroes of the story. They got him in. And it chased them all the way in. It bumped Mark's board, put a ding in it on the way in. They were very lucky to get him back in.
Orders to catch and kill the great white have now expired after it's believed it swam away from the area.
A terrorism-busting Aussie engineering company that supplies explosives detectives to the world is turning its attention to COVID-19. It says the technology can be adapted to detect coronavirus in public places.
The world has been turned upside down by a virus we can't see. We know COVID-19 is transferred through droplets and can live on surfaces for several days, but
at this moment in time, there are no means to check how effective cleaning protocols are, nor any way to know whether it's present or not.
That's set to change, with local scientists developing a way to check surfaces and shared spaces.
So to be able to detect whether a virus is on a surface within about 2 to 3 minutes.
Local company Grayscan builds bomb detection devices, and they're applying the same science to scan surfaces for COVID-19.
Take what we did about 15 years ago with explosives, where we reduced a 30-minute analysis to about 30 seconds, and to use what we learnt from that process and the engineering we developed to actually do the same thing for virus detection.
The technology could be used at airports, shopping centres, sporting arenas, and even for personal use.
The possibility of using that in a number of places where people in particular are moving would be really significant for getting society and our economy back on track.
The tech company is also working on a corona breathalyzer test as an alternative to the swab test.
By working closely with lung disease experts in the US and Australia, it's become very clear that there's a potential to trap and analyse breath.
Australian know-how, one step closer to containing COVID-19. Natasha Rexelby for 10 News First.
Oh, Will's back now, and Showdown Week has begun with a bang.
It sure has now. In case you're wondering whether it was going to feel like a Showdown Week, fists have flown between pros at training. That's ahead. Also, after the break, see the exclusive vision. Hear Brodie Smith's reaction to it. And the AFL concludes its investigation into Cat Jack Stevens.
The impact the coronavirus crisis has had on domestic violence next.
They're funny.
Are you breaking up there, Ed? I can't quite hear.
Cheeky and always paying attention.
So much effort and so few points.
It's Monday Night Mayhem when Denise, Marty and Mel join Ed and Sam on new Have You Been Paying Attention tonight.
Geeks to you saved my life.
Actually, I just saved all these photos. This PC had a virus.
Geeks to you, set up, synced up and sorted out my world.
Well, her IT world at least.
With our new improved download speed, we're streaming every night.
Is there no end to their problem-solving powers?
If there is a problem we can't fix, you don't pay.
They may be geeks to you, but they're miracle workers to me.
Call 1300 Geeks to You and we'll come to you.
I love that Australia has these amazing extremes. Even the harshest places have these beautiful natural surfaces. And those matte surfaces, how they respond to light, the effect that creates, it's incredible to photograph. It's the same with Colorbond's steel matte, strong, enduring yet subtle in its beauty.
She can't cry out for freedom or for the pain to end. She can't beg them to stop this endless cruelty. Animals have suffered for years at the hands of humans. Now their suffering is worse than ever due to a crisis caused by humans. Now the crowds are gone. They face even more neglect and abuse. If you love animals, please help end their suffering. Make some noise. Call 1-800-940-659 and become an animal protector for just $5 a month. Please be their voice. She needs you to stop the nightmare now, more than ever.
Bunnings has a great range of home security products.
Video doorbell, only $329. Security camera, just $69.
Where you find a competitor's lower price on the same stocked item will beat it by 10%. Shop at Bunnings wherever you are, whenever you want.
Are you unable to work due to illness or injury? You could claim insurance as part of your super. Talk to Australia's #1 law firm today. Morris Blackburn Lawyers will maximise your claim. Call for your free super check now. It costs nothing to know where you stand.
MasterChef's greatest challenge is here. The wall goes up tonight.
Good evening. The Crows say they don't have a problem with an all-out brawl between two of their players. Kyle Hartigan and Billy Frampton landed several blows during the internal trial, but the club says it's just the sort of aggression it expects to see in the lead-up to Showdown 48.
Saturday's Showdown could be as heated as any before it, if this is what the Crows are doing to their own teammates.
Hartigan and Billy went at it, which you love to see because it's that white line fever and competitiveness that we're looking for in internal for guys to push for spots. So they were all good afterwards and did the elbow bump and moved on.
A couple of holding free kicks in Saturday's internal trial led to Kyle Hartigan and Billy Frampton throwing several punches. Brodie Smith says it's a sign of things to come.
With the restrictions as well, it's basically you go to footy training and go home, so there's a bit of built-up frustration, I think, of guys itching to get out of the house and obviously get back into footy.
There's increasing hope a small amount of fans will be allowed to attend on Saturday, with the state government's transition committee discussing its options tomorrow.
Hopefully it does happen, but I guess it's not really fair if we're getting a heap of fans coming in and other teams can't have that. So yeah, just another thing for the AFL to work through, but we'd absolutely love to have our fans out there.
Taylor Walker spent most of his time up forward on Saturday, but could be used as a pinch-hitting ruckman against Port.
We've been pretty clear with Tex that it's pretty straightforward. You just compete and just tap in front, none of this over the back or anything. So he thinks he can put it everywhere, but we'll keep it pretty basic with Tex.
Former Lion Ben Keys is pushing for a club debut, while Shane McAdam impressed in his audition for suspended Tyson Stengel's vacant forward spot. Josh Money for 10 News First.
Meantime, Taylor Walker and Tom Rockcliffe came together for the fight against motor neuron disease. The pair dressed up for the 6th annual Big Freeze. The Crows forward paid tribute to firefighters before going on a frosty slide, while Rockcliffe did his best impersonation of club chairman David Koch.
But you know that I love Port Adelaide, 150 years. Finals or bust we can this year, really.
Lion Mitch Robinson came as Joe Exotic. While
flying isn't unusual, but being on the road for at least a month is, and the thought of living out of suitcases to play footy was a little emotional.
Yeah, a bit like this goes on a little bit in that space.
And Jake Lever is right to go against the Blues.
His training loads have been really high. He didn't play on Saturday. He had a bit of general soreness, but that was more of a precaution. He'll train fully Wednesday and be right to play this week.
Rob Waters for 10 News First.
Mother Nature has rained on Alex de Minaur's parade in Spain. The Aussie world number 26 won the opening game of his exhibition final against Roberto Batista Agut before the weather set in and washed the match out. The event was de Minaur's first since tennis was shut down by coronavirus. The ATP Tour is currently suspended until the end of July. Socceroos goalkeeper Mitch Langerak has caught coronavirus while in Japan. The 31-year-old tested positive, despite not reporting any of the symptoms. He's the second player for Nagoya Grampus to have contracted the disease. Langerak is likely to miss some matches with the J-League season set to restart in less than a month's time. Well, speaking of Langerak, being a keeper can be tough at the best of times, but then there are moments like this in Belarus. Yeah, if you think that blunder is bad, well, the shot stopper at the other end also had a shocker. The game ended in a draw, which seems appropriate for this pair, who can also share in our misplay of the day. I think they've even got fans in Belarus too, Al, so they cop the bake too. Absolutely. Inappropriate.
Thanks, Will. South Australian towns set to plummet below zero again tonight. Kate Freeban has the details next. Plus, how you could score a job working for NASA.
How soggy broccoli sent Simon packing from the MasterChef kitchen. Next.
Oh my God, I'm going crazy. Oh my God.
This is not good.
The wall goes up tonight.
As this financial year closes, it's been one of the toughest for many of us. Sunboost, Australia's largest solar company, is stepping up to help Australians save and generate funds at this critical time. And you can accelerate your recovery with an end of financial year Sunboost discount on the most popular family-size solar package.
Boost your financial recovery with a limited $400 end of financial year discount on this premium 6.6 kilowatt system, fully installed for just $35.91, only until June 30. So call 1300 Sunboost today.
You're relying on our network more, so we're accelerating the rollout of Telstra 5G, giving more people and businesses access to fast download speeds in more places than ever.
Deliciously messy Aussie pork ribs are now only $13.99 a kilo. Aldi, good, different.
Tina, can you please slice the lettuce, tomato and onions, toast the buns, grab the sauce and mayo and bring the meat.
Take a break from cooking and get Hungry Jack's Flame Grill Whoppers delivered now on Uber Eats or Menu Lock. Hungry Jack's Delivery. The burgers are better.
Imagine a place where you could get the complete picture of your finances in one spot, learn where you're spending and earn money in the process. Humanity, so much more than a personal finances app. Download free at the App Store or humanity.com.
Portside Mitsubishi is open for business. Stay apart, but don't stay away from our great demo deals in June. ASX ES Auto now $24,990 drive away. Triton GLX Plus Auto now $35,990 drive away. Outlander LS Auto now $32,990 drive away. And Triton GLXR Auto now $38,990 drive away. Come in now or go online and we can come to you. That's right. So don't go anywhere. Don't buy anything. Don't sign anything until you've checked out Portside Mitsubishi.
I got into comedy for the perks, but there actually aren't that many. But that's okay, because I am an eBay Plus member. Year-round exclusive member deals and discounts that I don't have to queue up for, free express delivery, 5% off groceries from the Coles store on eBay, and free returns. I might be sending this one back, actually. Not sure it's my colour. eBay Plus. Unlock free express delivery on millions of items and exclusive year-round savings. Want all the perks? Start your free 30-day trial today.
We're Lumo Energy SA. We're 100% Australian owned and we're 1000% here for you, South Australia, so you can live life with confidence, knowing your energy is in good hands. South Australia, we're here for you.
Well, we're almost all moved in. Can't wait to show you around the brand new home. Gringo, that's empty. Yeah, it is.
Come and see our new living room on 10.
If you're on a mission to work for NASA, now is your chance. Launching today, the space giant's new multi-million-dollar partnership with an all-Australian-based company. It will take working online to a brave new frontier.
As NASA reaches for the stars.
Ignition. Liftoff of the Falcon 9 and Crew Dragon. Go NASA. Go
Some
NASA.
remarkable Aussies are hitching a ride, such as Queensland uni lecturer Lauren Fell.
I designed a radiation shield that could be folded up into a small space to be sent up into space.
Lauren's shield, inspired by an armadillo, took out second prize in a global NASA contest run on the world's biggest crowdsourcing website, freelancer.com.
We have over 44 million people. You can think of it like an eBay for jobs. Any job you can possibly think of, you can get done on Freelancer, right from a $10 project right to a huge project with an organisation like NASA.
From one small startup step 10 years ago, this Australian company has just taken a giant leap.
It's just been announced that we've won jointly a $25 million tender with NASA to deliver solutions to complex problems facing astronauts on the space station and in deep space travel.
Imagine you're in a spacecraft traveling through space. With so much equipment on board and no place to stop and stock up, it's vital to know where everything is.
The new NASA paid jobs will start appearing on the Freelancer website within a week, taking this partnership beyond running highly successful NASA contests. From a smartwatch the astronauts wear in the space station to a robotic arm that flies around outside doing experiments. These are among more than 13,000 products that NASA has sourced from freelancer.com, coming from 6,000 stellar Earthlings. Ali Donaldson for 10 News First.
South Australians have shivered through an icy morning. Kate Freeban, you're braving the chill up at Mount Lofty.
Alan, by far, this was our coldest morning of the year. And as always, Mount Lofty was one of the coldest spots. But today it was the northern suburbs that copped it the worst. Elizabeth and Parafield both dropped below zero and recorded their coldest temperatures this early in winter in 38 years. Likewise, down at the city's Kent Town station, they recorded their coldest temperature this early in winter in 31 years. Tonight's weather photos were taken by people that braved the cold outside this morning. It was absolutely freezing at Two Wells. We had frozen car windscreens on almost every street around Adelaide, and Paul snapped a photo of his, while in the Barossa, Sharon rugged up and braved the cold to take photos of frost on the leaves and the flowers in Tanunda. In the city, our low was 1.7 degrees at 3:30 this morning. Eventually, the sun came up and thawed out just a bit. Our top was 14 degrees in the city at 2 this afternoon. Currently 9 degrees in Adelaide, about 3 degrees here at Mount Lofty. It is absolutely freezing. Around the suburbs today, you can see those freezing temperatures in the north. -1 in Elizabeth. 14 was the top in Glenelg and Noarlunga, 13 in Murray Bridge and just 10 in Mount Barker. Across the state, it dropped to -2 in Clare overnight and 0 in Ceduna and Wyalla. Yunta was the coldest place. It got close to -5 degrees. Today, though, was sunny across the state. It reached 18 degrees in Coober Pedy, 14 in Wyalla and 11 degrees in Clare. It got to -3 in Renmark overnight, -2 in the Barossa and -1 in Keith and Narracourt. Today it reached 15 degrees on Kangaroo Island, 13 degrees in Port Lincoln and 12 degrees in Mount Gambier. Interstate, it got to 24 degrees in Brisbane and Perth, 18 degrees the top for Sydney, while Melbourne had a cold day too, reaching 13 degrees. On the satellite photo, there's patchy cloud lingering in chilly southerly winds, which is causing the odd light shower. Now, this is why it was so cold this morning. A high pressure system is bringing calm winds and mostly clear skies, and that will continue over the next few days. Around the country tomorrow, late showers for Brisbane, 18 degrees with showers for Sydney. A cold morning for Melbourne with fog and frost before a mostly sunny day heading for 15 degrees, with a mostly sunny 23 degrees in Perth. In South Australia, prepare for another freezing night. Clare is going to be below zero again with cold weather throughout. There's a chance of severe frost over central and eastern districts. Roxby Downs and Wyalla are down to 0. Tomorrow's top temperatures will reach the mid-teens. Looking further south, it's down to -2 through the Barossa overnight and also in the east in Renmark. Tomorrow should get to 15 degrees in Renmark, 14 degrees in Victor and 13 degrees in Narracourt. On local waters, seas will stay below a metre. Around the suburbs, very cold overnight. Elizabeth down to -1 again, and then tomorrow's temperatures will reach the teens. In Adelaide, layer up tonight. It's down to 3 degrees with early frost tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow sunny but cold and 14. Then looking ahead, we're in for a run of very cold mornings and sunny days.
A bizarre string of fires has a small southeast town on edge, fearing a serial arsonist. This hour, a fresh police bid to catch the culprit. Childcare payments set to hit family budgets again from July 12 as the government scraps its COVID subsidy. And a trio of new commuter apps designed to prevent overcrowding along public transport routes. There are fears the small southeast town of Nangwarry is being terrorised by a serial arsonist. Police say 12 blazes over the past 5 years are now under investigation. The latest just yesterday.
A young family's home reduced to ruins. As fire tore through the Nangwarry house near Mount Gambier, 5 people woke to flames at the front and back of the home.
Luckily they were able to escape without any serious injury. Unfortunately we did have one person that was conveyed to hospital for precautionary checks as a result of smoke inhalation.
Police are investigating whether yesterday's suspicious blaze is linked to a series of attacks in the tiny town.
They've got to catch them at some time, because this time the people got out, next time they mightn't.
The local football club destroyed at the hands of arsonists last year, one of 12 fires in 5 years under the microscope. A community that feels under siege.
Scared, probably worried more than anything, because you just don't know what's going to happen next.
This most recent fire will bring up a range of emotions for people and certainly be a catalyst for concern within the wider community.
Police have leads but are pleading with anyone who can help stop this firebug to come forward.
We an increased police presence in and around the town and through the region.
Hannah Ford for 10 News First.
A 14-year-old boy has been charged with dangerous driving causing death over a fatal crash in Townsville. 3 girls and a boy died when the stolen car clipped a roundabout, rolled and hit traffic lights early yesterday morning. A woman's managed to jump from her car moments before it was hit by an oncoming train in Perth. Security cameras captured the moment of impact. The woman had just lost control of her car and crashed through a fence.
God, a car has been dragged from the train.
A train hitting a car, your brain stops there, you're shocked, you're horrified.
The woman wasn't hurt. She's since been charged with careless driving and not having a licence. The end to free childcare has come sooner than expected, with fees to resume on July 13. It's feared it'll be a barrier to getting many back into the workforce.
Balancing the household budget in a pandemic is a delicate task. Made easier with the government shelling out free childcare.
It's been really, really good to have the support, probably over the last couple of months.
But all good things come to an end, and
free childcare will end on 12 July.
From July 13, it's back to reality for parents, with childcare fees to resume. But there will be a subsidy to include 100 hours of childcare for those who have suffered financially due to the pandemic. From July 20, JobKeeper payments for childcare workers will end. That will be replaced by a $708 million support package over 3 months to smooth the transition.
Through the changes that we've made here, that we will be able to support not only families, but the sector transition.
In recent weeks, attendance has increased back to 74%, which put pressure on centres.
We are grateful for the government's decision today to move back towards going back to normal again.
But in the new normal, for parents struggling financially under COVID-19 restrictions, it's a cost they had yet to factor in.
Despite knowing that families are under extensive pressure, they just want to snap back to high fees and a complex system. This snapback will snap families.
I was actually contemplating, do I keep him in childcare or pull him out now just to save the money?
Cutting costs could become more important than getting back to work. Kimberly Pratt for 10 News First.
Droves of holidaymakers are making the crawl back home after a mass exodus to our regions this long weekend.
A long weekend, a long wait to get back home for a crowd that was desperate to get away. The notorious crossroads of Port Wakefield had travellers banked up for kilometres. In Port Elliot, the queue was on the footpath and the wait was for baked goods.
We've got lines marked out so everyone keeps their distance and does the right thing. So, yeah, we are busy, but everything's been going pretty well.
Across the state, campers packed up.
You're in your little bubble for so long. It's great to finally get out after a few months.
Some braving sub-zero temperatures. In the Barossa, it was minus 2.7 degrees.
It was super cold. And I just didn't want to wake up.
For others, the conditions were perfect for launching the boat.
It was pretty good weather, nice and flat, so good time to go.
The calm conditions still spelled trouble for some anglers, with sea rescue needed.
Heard a little sound about halfway in front of Brighton almost. Pulled it back into neutral, motor died. Pulled the cover off and couldn't turn her, wouldn't start.
While beachgoers enjoyed the shallower waters on the shoreline. Cam Inglis for 10 News First.
The state government has revealed the clunky and unpopular MetroMate app for public transport commuters is being scrapped. 3 alternatives are set to replace it.
It's smartphone apps like these the state government hopes will prevent crowding like this on our public transport network.
I've had to take my daughter to the hospital a few times and there's been no social distancing on the bus. The bus drivers pack the buses full like a can of sardines.
While those choosing to wait can get taken for a ride with poor service information. 40,000 people deleted the MetroMate app last year. It'll be decommissioned within a month.
They call it real time, but not really. Yeah, it says delayed 20 minutes.
It wasn't accurate on time.
Adelaide Metro is now instead providing its data to existing highly rated apps, Move It, Next There and Transit, which can all be downloaded for free.
And this means that our customers can have better real-time information than what they have had previously, so they can make better decisions about keeping safe on public transport.
This was scheduled to happen later in the year. The project was fast-tracked to enable social distancing, but only after official advice from public health authorities.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic, yeah, because I wouldn't get on the bus that was over full, and if they had the app saying, yes, another one's coming in 10 minutes, I'd wait for the next one.
That would be really helpful. Yeah, but then again, it's not going to guarantee that the next bus isn't going to have as many people.
The Adelaide Metro website will also be re-engineered. Chloe Boris for 10 News First.
Suburban shops are cashing in on extended trading, able to open on the Queen's birthday holiday for the first time. While shoppers welcome the changes, independent retailers say big chains are taking away their business.
A gift to shoppers on the Queen's birthday. Suburban retailers given the royal treatment, allowed to trade from 9 this morning through to 9 o'clock tonight.
I think it's great because, you know, especially people that work Monday to Friday, it's difficult to sometimes get to the shops.
It just makes things a bit easier for the customers.
Businesses are obviously, due to the virus, they're being able to make money back again, which is excellent for the community and everyone else.
Usually only shops in the city or the regions have the option to open, but the state government says giving people more places to shop helps maintain social distancing.
That's something we support in the course of the pandemic. But as we move out of the health emergency, it begs the question, why would Stephen Marshall want to make a decision that hurts South Australian family-owned small businesses?
The traffic flow will go to your bigger shopping centres, like down the road with Marion and Tea Tree Plaza up northeast there. You'll find people moving to those shopping centres, and the little guys are just going to lose all the time.
Independent retailers traditionally exempt from public holiday closures say they stand to lose up to 75% of turnover.
That's extremely disappointing. That's jobs. That's people being cut back on their hours of casual work.
The organisation says it's frustrated with the way small businesses have been treated during the pandemic and wants to meet with the government to discuss its concerns.
We're putting it out to the health authorities to come and see us and work with us and understand what is actually going out there in the retail industry. But since this time, we have not been consulted once.
Tiffany Warren for 10 News First.
Political leaders and sporting leaders are among nearly 1,000 Aussies named on the Queen's Birthday Honour Roll this year. South Australians are being recognised for their contributions in industries from food and tourism to charity work and art.
A top honour for a man who once held top office. Former Prime Minister Tony Abbott recognised by the Queen for serving his country.
No one gets to be Prime Minister without being a part of a team, and I regard this as very much a team award.
Another leader, but of the sporting kind, was shocked to learn he'd even been nominated.
Yeah, when I found out, I thought it was a few of my friends taking the mickey.
Joining these recognisable faces on the Queen's Birthday Honour Roll were some lesser-known community heroes. Rachel Zoltran is committed to helping every South Australian child at risk of homelessness through her charity, Backpacks for SA Kids.
Children going into foster care, domestic violence, youth homelessness, pretty much any child. We've nearly reached 40,000 kids since we started now.
Also on the list is Adelaide Hills cheesemaker Chris Lloyd for services to the food and tourism industries. She's calling on South Australians to support small business during the pandemic.
Everyone can make a difference, and I would really encourage people to be looking at what they are putting in their shopping trolleys.
Taylor Ryan for 10 News First.
Up next on 10 News First, statues toppled as the UK descends into a second day of violence. And in sport, why two hot-tempered crows won't be getting a rap on the knuckles.
why US federal investigators want to speak to Prince Andrew, and we chat to Simon about his overboiled broccoli MasterChef fail. See you tonight.
The stylish Haval H2, a globally engineered, European-designed and feature-packed SUV. From just $22,990 drive away. Haval H2 Auto. New car thinking.
This only happens once a year. The half-yearly clearance. Lots of blinds, half price.
Burns for Blinds massive before June 30 clearance.
Once a year prices. Indoor blinds, outdoor blinds, cafe blinds, roller shutters and security doors. Even curtains.
This could be your best buy of 2020.
Don't miss this once a year savings event. Phone Burns for Blinds now. Quite frankly, the prices are ridiculous.
What have you got to lose? Get a free quote. Nobody beats Burns for Blinds once a year sale.
I don't want somebody opening their door into my new car. Hey, bit close, aren't you?
Insure with RAA, winner of the 2019 CanStar Award for most satisfied customers for car insurance in SA.
Keep on moving on.
Planning an escape? Find bliss with this exclusive 10 traveller offer. Park Royal Darling Harbour, Sydney from just $199, including club experience and a 24-hour refund policy. For this and other great offers, visit 10traveller.com.au.
At Chemist Warehouse, we are always here for you. Check out our amazing June catalogue sale on now. Silicea Ultra 1-a-day hair, skin and nails, 30 capsules, $22.99. Healthy Care Coenzyme Q10 150mg 100 capsules, $22.09. Lifespace Probiotic for 60 plus years, 60 capsules, $23.99. And OptiGold Premium Toddler Milk Drink 900 grams, $20.99. Shop in-store, online or call your local store to arrange contact-free delivery. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day.
It is the heart of the home. It's the heart of our family. We need it to last a long time.
We definitely make the whole process affordable and easy.
So to create the amazing look without the big prices, beautiful kitchens that look amazing.
Get into your Holden dealer today for never-to-be-repeated offers across all your favourite Holden vehicles. But remember, this is Holden's final clearance, with limited stock available, so this truly is your last chance. When you buy any new Holden, it comes with a 5-year unlimited kilometre warranty. That's a guarantee of our ongoing commitment to our customers, that Holden will continue servicing vehicles in our certified workshops right across Australia. The Holden final clearance is on now. Don't miss it.
Thanks to Light and Easy, Australians of all ages can enjoy their choice of delicious, nutritious meals in the comfort and safety of their own home. Especially those at a greater health risk during these times. If you or someone close to you could benefit by having Light and Easy meals delivered safely with our contactless delivery service, visit lightandeasy.com.au or call us on 13 15 12.
Get ready for some Monday night mayhem when Denise returns with Marty and Mel.
We're working together again.
Okay, but who gets the points?
Denise. I do.
Yeah.
Think Ed and Sam know what they're in for?
In hindsight, do you think that was a good idea, Tom?
Find out on new Have You Been Paying Attention tonight.
Black Lives Matter demonstrations across the UK have descended into violence for a second straight day. Europe correspondent Phoebe Bowden reports.
A statue of a 17th century slave trader, Edward Colston, torn down in minutes. The statue has divided Bristol for years. After protesters ripped it to the ground, they threw it into the harbour. The government is unimpressed.
Well, I think that is utterly disgraceful, and that speaks to the acts of disorder, public disorder, that actually have now become a distraction from the cause in which people are actually protesting.
Disorder was on display across the UK.
Get out of the way!
Police were targeted. Fireworks, bottles, bikes and flares hurled at them. At times, angry protesters were surrounding police. Those who organised these rallies wanted peaceful protests, some even intervening between violent protesters and officers. Aware the bad behaviour of some is overshadowing their cause.
No justice! No peace! No justice! No peace!
A statue of Winston Churchill defaced with the word racist. Churchill, the man who fought Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. In Italy, Rome held its first major rally against racism, with protesters taking a knee. Events were held across Europe. In Belgium,
we need to end racism. It's just unacceptable.
And Madrid. But it seems messages of ending racism and inequality continue to be overshadowed. Phoebe Bowden for 10 News First, London.
In the US, the Minneapolis City Council has voted to defund and dismantle its police force. The pledge follows the killing of George Floyd by police officers.
Our commitment is to end our city's toxic relationship with the Minneapolis Police Department, to end policing as we know it.
And just a few hours ago, a man drove his car towards a crowd of protesters in Seattle, allegedly shooting one of them. Thankfully, no one was seriously hurt, and he was arrested. Well, Wolves back with sport now, and a couple of Crows have traded fists.
Yeah, they have, Alan. They won't be sanctioned by the club, though, after what was a fiery internal trial. 10 News First captured exclusive vision of Kyle Hartigan and Billy Frampton throwing punches, but the Crows say they'd expect nothing less in the build-up to a showdown.
The boys so hard when Billy went at it, which you love to see because it's that white line fever and competitiveness that we're looking for in internal for guys to push for spots. So they were all good afterwards and did the elbow bump and moved on.
The Crows in Port are still hopeful a small crowd will be able to attend Showdown 48, with the state's transition committee set to meet tomorrow. West Coast will arrive on the Gold Coast in just over an hour's time. The squad said emotional goodbyes to loved ones this morning as the reality of a month away from home sunk in.
There were plenty of hugs and even some tears. But nothing could stop these Eagles from crossing the country.
Look, we're okay. You can't control it, can you? So you just got to go with it and not put too much energy into it. And just be grateful that our boys can go play a season and they're still in work.
While players can host visitors, the Shuey clan isn't likely to take up the offer.
Look, to be honest, I don't think we will. We're lucky to have all our family here, so we'll stay put. And if Luke's really missing us, we might get on the flight over.
According to the AFL, the investigation is closed into Jack Stevens suffering stab wounds. They found he hadn't breached any of the game's coronavirus protocols. The Cats face the Hawks, who have been training with tighter boundaries to replicate Geelong's home ground. Isaac Smith, he's been focusing on Mitch Duncan's style in particular.
Watch a bit of tape of Mitch Duncan and see what he does. He seems to play pretty well down there. He likes to get in a position to intercept the ball.
And at the D's, Harley Bennell is on the verge of making a fairy tale comeback.
Oh, look, it's very tempting. It's exciting. We always thought he'd be ready about mid-year, and it just happens to be round 2. So, he's done everything right. He's done a lot of training.
Max Burford for 10 News First.
And the big freeze still went ahead, even if the Queen's birthday match didn't. Some of the teams took the mickey out of their club leaders.
Sorry guys, you caught me having a bit of a snooze there. Alistair Clarkson here, coach of Hawthorn. Got our president here with me, Jeff Kennett. Jeff, how you going? Very well, Alistair, yourself?
Traditional combatants Collingwood and Melbourne were united in the cause. Former Murray Bushranger still side bottom, made an appearance as Ned Kelly, while the D's got right into the swing of things, going down the slide as Happy Gilmore and his caddy. I don't know about that Jeff Kennett impersonation.
I thought it was pretty good, must say.
It's all for a good cause.
Thanks, Will. Fill up the hot water bottles. Kate Freeban has details of another icy night ahead next.
MasterChef's greatest challenge is here.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What is it? We can't tell you.
Oh my god, I'm going crazy.
You'll have to wait and see. Tell us something. The top 10 won't know what's here.
Mayhem. Mayhem. Oh my god.
This is not good.
The wall goes up. 7:30 tonight.
At Coles, we're helping lower the cost of dinner with the Coles boneless pork leg roast, down to $8.50 a kilo. Save $1.50 a kilo. For delicious roast pork recipes, head to coles.com.au. Coles, good things, great value.
Great Wall end of financial year value is now on. Get a brand new petrol dual cab or diesel single cab with a free trade and a 5-year warranty from only $19,990. That's right, from just $19,990 drive away. Great Wall, it's built to work.
Haggleco presents Mission to Discount. These are your discounts should you choose to accept them. Double-sided queen mattress, $2.99. Designer velvet bed, King or Queen, $6.99. Up to 50% off Australian-made mattresses. Haggleco is on a mission to discount. Corner lounge with 10 configurations, only $11.99. And recliner suite with 4 recliners, $12.99. Discounts accepted. Haggleco.
We miss you. Come for dinner. We're getting Hungry Jack's delivered.
Feed the family. Get Hungry Jack's Flame Grilled Whoppers delivered now on Uber Eats or Menu Log. Hungry Jack's Delivery. The burgers are better.
This is Coral. Rather than make assumptions about how she uses her car, we listened. She saved $297 when she switched to Yui.
I'm very happy with the savings.
Coral is retired. She only uses her car to take her elderly mum to appointments and general running around. But in the current crisis, Coral is driving even less. So we thought it was only right to give Coral temporary relief on her car insurance premium.
Everybody's trying to save a bit of money these days.
Yui, you insured.
Tough, refined, exceptional value. A BT50 stands out. At the Mazda Standout End of Financial Year event, get a 2019 plate Mazda BT50 XT 4x4 dual cab with ABN bonus from $37,490 drive away.
Well, I do love the views at Port Noarlunga.
But how about that view from Roslyn Park?
I always look forward to heading to Mawson Lakes.
Country Blinds, 30 years of making them right here and taking them just about everywhere. Country Blinds, custom-made curtains, indoor blinds, outdoor blinds and plantation shutters, and 9 mobile selection vehicles to bring it all to you. Call for a free in-home measure and quote.
Everybody loves their country.
Up next, debate rages. Could passionate protests over the weekend undo all our good work when it comes to COVID-19? The government's calling time on free childcare. What does this mean for parents and centres around the country? And Simon Toohey turns in his apron as the MasterChef kitchen heats up. The project next.
After 2 months, the SA Museum finally opened its doors today. With an 80-person capacity, activities have been arranged on the front lawn to entertain anyone waiting to get in. The opening got underway with a traditional smoking ceremony, and there were plenty of eager visitors keen to get a glimpse of their favourite exhibitions.
The kids want to see the giant squid, they like the rocks and minerals. They're sad the Discovery Center is still closed, but they understand that. They've been pretty patient.
The big octopus.
I'm here to see the giant squid. So I don't know what I'm most excited to see. Probably like the animals, stuffed animals, things like that.
The hugely popular Dogs exhibition has also been extended to August due to the recent closure. Our icy morning was a taste of what's to come this week. Kate Freeban, the Weather Bureau's forecast, another freezing night.
Well, Alan, the only difference is this time it comes with warning. This morning was a practice run, so if you were cold today, then you might need to rug up with some extra layers tonight. Tomorrow we're expecting more sub-zero temperatures right around South Australia, and that means more of this. This morning we had widespread frost here in Adelaide and right across the state, with icy windscreens across Adelaide. Our Kent Town weather station recorded a low of 1.5 degrees, and that's the coldest it's been this early in the season. season in 31 years. The coldest spot was Yunta up near Broken Hill, where it almost hit -5. The Riverland was around -3 and the Barossa dropped to -1. Tonight, our weather photo was taken out at Blake's Crossing by Adam Nelson. The northern suburbs were the coldest places to be in Adelaide. Elizabeth got down to -1. By mid-morning, it thawed out and it was lovely and sunny, but still cold. Our top was 14 degrees in Adelaide and right now it's 8 degrees in the city, just 3 degrees here at Mount Lofty. On the satellite photo, there is some patchy cloud across South Australia, lingering in chilly southerly winds, and that's causing the odd light shower. Now, this is why it was so cold this morning. A high is bringing calm winds and mostly clear skies, and that'll continue for the next few days. Around the country tomorrow, late showers for Brisbane, 18 with showers for Sydney, and a cold morning for Melbourne with fog and frost. In South Australia, another freezing night. Clare going below 0 again, and Roxby Downs and Whyalla both down to 0, with a chance of severe frost over central and eastern districts. Down to -2 in Renmark tomorrow and -1 in the Barossa overnight. On local waters, seas will stay below a metre, while around the suburbs it's down to -1 again in Elizabeth. In Adelaide, layer up down to 3 degrees tonight, with early frost tomorrow morning and then sunny but cold, heading for 14. And we're in for a run of cold mornings and sunny days, lows of 5 degrees for the next couple, and then the rain's back in time for the weekend. Alan, I'm out of here. Stay warm. See you tomorrow.
I'll certainly try to. Thank you, Kate. That is Adelaide's 10 News First for now. Good night.
Tonight, why a criminal probe into Jeffrey